everybody. I hope you are all doing very well. For those of you that are new, I am Natalie. And for those of you that are coming back, then welcome. It's great to have you here. I want to do a very, very short intro. So this channel, As the Pennies Drop, is all about creating a life that you love, deserve, and desire. I do offer a variety of coaching solutions, self-study courses, one-to-one sessions with me, and programs where you can deep dive into releasing those limiting beliefs, those traumas that are keeping you stuck, all guided and designed for you to finally experience a life that you deserve. So if you'd like to find out more about me or about the coaching solutions that I provide, then just click the link below this video. Okay, so today's video is basically about how so therefore then you, how I was able to manifest specific people back when I thought it was hopeless. Hopeless, I tell you, hopeless, beyond hopeless. So if you are currently in a situation where you'd like to be with your ex and you're feeling like it is absolutely hopeless, maybe they've said they don't want anything to do with you anymore. Maybe they said, we're just not compatible. Maybe they've said they're not in love with you anymore. Maybe they've said they've met somebody else. Maybe they have decided to move across the world away, not necessarily from you, but that's what they've decided. Whatever the circumstance is, no matter how dire the situation feels, I guarantee that if you do what I did, you will be able to get them back. All it takes is you to remain faithful, diligent, persistent, consistent, and it will happen. So this is what I'm going to share with you, how I was able to do it. And I'm going to probably mix in a couple of different people that stand out that I know I've been able to do it with, and one quite a few times. And this was when I knew about conscious manifesting, and also when I didn't know about conscious manifesting. Okay, so you're going to have a variety of different ways to do this from me. So the first thing is that you need to know is it is possible. No matter what the circumstance is, it is possible to be with your specific person, to get your ex back. It is possible. Yeah. So this video is more about getting your ex back. But if there is a specific person that you haven't had a relationship with, then you can actually tailor this video to that too. So it can work in that respect too. So let's start. The first time I remember, I'm going to get myself comfy. You have to excuse me. I've got my tracksuit bottoms on. It's cold in the UK. There you go. That's the YouTube, the Zoom cheat. I've got my nice posh top on and then my tracky bottoms. So when I years ago would go through heartache with relationships and breakups, the first time I truly remember somebody coming back when I'd gone through an absolute state of a breakup. We'd only been dating for a few months, but it had been very kind of love bomby. So probably not the healthiest, obviously, looking back, but it was quite love bomby relationship. I became his be all and end all and everything. And then there were a lot of things going on in his life at the time. And I remember I reacted to something, not massively reacted, but I reacted to something. And I then the next day got a message. That was it. Done. That was it. Done. I was absolutely beyond myself. I didn't know what to do. The hurt, the pain, the triggers, the feelings, and I then, because I didn't know obviously about manifesting, or not to logically kind of physically react in the 3D, I was obviously trying to call the person to apologize and come on, you know, everything's going to be okay, it's fine and stuff. And I was just getting I'd get like, no, that's it. And then I just stopped getting responded to. And it was horrible. Now, obviously then, if those of you that know my story, some of you do, some of you don't, but then I was in I was in a place of not loving myself. So, and it took quite a few years for me to get to a place of loving myself. It took quite a lot of karmic lessons for me to finally go, right, something's got to change, and it's me. So at that point in my life, I was not loving myself at all. And something was better than nothing. And I would, put up and shut up, or sometimes I'd react a little bit, and boom, then I was always the one that was discarded. So, and this isn't getting a violins out. I'm just trying to share and create, the whole kind of experience, so you understand kind of what it was like for me then. Not now, thankfully. So this had happened. Oh my goodness, I lost weight. I just didn't, I was smoking like a trooper, drinking like a fish. I just didn't want to deal with life. I had a job in London that which was quite new. Everything was just a big pile of poo. It was all a bit of a mess, let's face it. It was a bit of a mess. And I would message this person once every couple of weeks. I wasn't bombarding him at all. I would message maybe once every couple of weeks for about 2 months. So this kind of happened in the July. And I think by the beginning of September, I just stopped. I just stopped. And I started to feel a bit better. Now, I was then under the impression that it was done. That was it. It was it. It was done. It was done. I'd started to put on a bit of weight because I really did lose a lot of weight. And I started to put on a bit of weight. So I was feeling healthier, and I started to have a bit more fun, and I started to go out, after work with some of the girls and have a couple of cocktails here and there, and just started to enjoy myself and doing fun things. And I just started to, just live my life. And every time that he would pop into my mind, which was less and less and less, but if he did, I would just think about him in a loving, kind way. I would think about lovely things that we'd done, or lovely things that he would have said to me. And I was conjuring up the inner felt experience of as though we were together, and it felt good. I wasn't attached. I'd got out of that attached phase by basically weaning myself away, by focusing on me and how I wanted to feel. And it would have taken probably a good couple of months for me to get out of that state. But when I did, it was because I was just gradually, but carefully, and taking one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, moving forwards and letting go. I was moving forwards. I was detaching by moving forwards and living my life. And I was putting my focus more on me and doing fun things. And it took a while, but I did it nice and gradually. And I started to feel better and better and better. And then I started to, date somebody. And that was in the October. And so I started to date somebody, and we were, getting on well. It was all fairly new, but it was light, it was effortless, it was nice. It was a nice person. So now all of my focus, all of my attention was now on me living my greatest life and this new person that I'd started to date. Guess what happened next? Exactly. Through the obsessive need of wanting to be with this person, I'd obviously done enough work within for the universe to realize, because obviously I am the universe, but I like to think of it outside of us, for the universe to realize that this is what I want. I then started to take my focus off of it more and more and more and more and more. And I would only ever think about this person in a loving, kind way. And then my focus completely came off of it. And I was then able to move forwards. And because I'd created this space here by just letting go, that enabled that person to come in. I'd done enough of the vibrational work aligning me to him, and I'd let go of the need and the focus was on me, and that allowed him to come in. So that is basically, I should actually say, so I then got pursued for quite a few months because I was with this other person. That then didn't work out with this other person. And then we started to date again. So yeah, I was pursued for a few months. Now this is, bearing in mind, I was told, no, that was it. Done. And I never heard from him for a few months. So that was about 3 months of no contact from him. July, August, September, yeah. So actually 3.5 months of no contact. And then I was being pursued like you wouldn't believe. And we got back together. So that's that relationship. And then, so that's kind of one way that I was unconsciously manifesting him in. I was following the law of assumption and law of attraction. And that's how I manifested him back, which seemed quite effortless actually when I look back at it. And actually, when I think about it, the times that I found, the times that were easiest for me to manifest somebody back was when I didn't know. So then the other person that I've been able to manifest back quite a few times, which again, every single time it felt like the end of the world. Every single time it felt dreadful. Every single time that we broke up, and we broke up a lot, every single time I would be, back smoking like a chimney, drinking like a fish. I was in a right state. I was in a proper state, anxiety through the night, not being able to sleep, calling up my friend in the middle of the night, not being able to sleep, feeling scared, panicky, all of these things. And all of that is actually a part of not loving myself, because I was looking for him to fill up my cup, basically. Whereas obviously with when you learn to love yourself, you're filling up your own cup. So you're never going to be attached to anyone or anything ever again, because your cup is therefore always going to be overspilleth, because you're in a place of loving yourself. But then I wasn't. So I was very attached. Oh my God, the feeling, even now I can feel the feeling of my poor little old self, young self, past self, going through all of that in such a state. But again, when I got out of that state, it would take a couple of months, when I thought that was it, when it was, I don't want anything to do with you, we're not working, and I was being treated appallingly in this relationship, appallingly. But because I was in a place of not loving myself, and I was in a place of needing, and I was in a place of attachment, I didn't want to not be with him. I always wanted to be with him. I loved him. So why wouldn't I? But I was treated very badly. So, when we're in a place of not loving ourselves, it's kind of, we've got like this fog over our eyes, this fog, and you can't see clearly. You can't see the wood for the trees. And it's only when you're in a state of loving yourself, the fog lifts and you're like, oh, it's never going to happen to me again. And you're not going to be attached, and all those things. There's so much freedom that you experience when you're in a place of loving yourself. It is incredible. And if you want to find out about my self-love programs and courses, self-study work that you can purchase through me, then just click the links below the video. And if you have any questions, just email me at natalie@apenniesdrop.com. But basically, every single time that we broke up, except for there was one time I did something different, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but every single time we broke up, I was in a state of panic, and it was either me breaking up with him or him breaking up with me. But oh my God, it was awful. And the thoughts of him being with somebody else, yes, him being with somebody else, what if he meets somebody else? I remember saying to my friend at like 4 a.m, like, nearly having a panic attack, but what if he's met somebody else? What if he meets somebody else? Horrible. Not once did I ever think I deserve more, or I deserve to meet somebody else, because obviously I did deserve more, and I did deserve to be with somebody else after I'd learned to love myself. Obviously, in hindsight is a wonderful thing, but every single time it felt like it was it. I'd either be blocked, ghosted, or I would block or ghost or whatever it was, every single time. And every single time, which I only received through learning about conscious manifesting and knowing that you can manifest anything in anyone, it was only through that I could then piece the puzzle together of how I was able to attract that person back time and time and time and time again, because my pattern was exactly the same. So the circumstance didn't matter. Although at the time I was like, that's it, it's done. I was a mess. It was horrible. And it would generally take me between a month and 2 months to really start to feel a little bit better. So between that time, even though I was in a place of need and obsessed and attached, I was actually setting the wish to the universe, sending the wish to the universe about being with him, wanting to be with him, you know. And I would be thinking about, as well as thinking about thoughts of what if he's met somebody else, or what if we never get back together, I must have then been as well thinking more thoughts about us being back together, even though I was doing it in an obsessive way. And sometimes there'd be a lot of tears and things like that. But I was doing that. But it wasn't until I got to a place, again, like with the first example I shared, when I got to a place where I was like, oh my God, I'm just done. I am just done with feeling this way. I'm done. I'm worth more than this. I'm done. You know, and I was able to kind of put in one step in front of the other, putting one foot in front of the other, you know. And I gradually started to feel better, and I would enjoy myself more, and everything would be going well, and I'd be going out with my friends and things like that. And everything started to just feel really, really good. And either I would then suddenly reach out just to see how that person was, and I'd get a response, or they would come to me. Now, there's a variety of different ways that's happened. But I would, whilst I was feeling better, I would then be daydreaming, pretending, I guess, not even pretending, because I wasn't doing this to get him back, but I was just doing this naturally because it made me feel good. When I was thinking about the lovely things that we'd done, whether it was running around New York or being in Mykonos or Ibiza or wherever it was that we were doing, going for walks, going for our runs in around the castle where we used to go running, all these things, you know, I would just be conjuring up the inner felt experience of though it was happening right now. And I wasn't doing it by thinking, oh God, I'm doing this because it's happening right and making it happen right now so I can get. I was just doing it because it made me feel good. Because it just made me feel good. I liked thinking about the lovely things that we'd done, hearing the lovely things, cooking for each other and things. I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. So I was now in the imaginal act, or just going back to my past memories that were creating the inner feeling as though I was with him right now. And I was doing that, obviously, more and more and more. I'd also already said to the universe, you know, this is what I want. When I was obsessed, I let go of the need of it, and I just started to lightly and enjoy. I enjoyed thinking about the lovely times together. And then he would come back, you know. So that's the easiest way that I was able to manifest them back. And I didn't have contradictory thoughts. And every single time, I promise you, I thought that was it. And I was in a proper state, proper state. But, and I will say here is that all of that, you know, being able to get them back is great. And that is basically your kind of the blueprint of being able to manifest people back, or to manifest. It's becoming the version of you that has them. That's what the conjuring up the feeling of the inner experience is. It is changing your identity as though you are with them, or you've got that pay rise, or you've got that new job, or you've got that incredibly globally successful growing business, whatever it is, or you know, you are now at that weight that you are, or you are now having that self-concept that you've always wanted to have, and you're seeing whatever it is. But the most important thing in all of this was that all of that, and the other story I'm going to share, I didn't love myself. I was needy, I was attached, I was obsessed. And when I let go of that, and when they came back, I just went back to being that same person. Nothing had changed. All I was doing was repeating the same act and expecting a different outcome. The outcome wasn't going to change, because guess who needed to change, guys? Me. I needed to learn to love myself. I needed to put myself on that pedestal so I could be treated with the love and respect that I deserved. You see, that I didn't have with these two other people. because you can't, love you. If you don't love yourself, how can you be loved anyway? Everyone, as you pushed out, they can only reflect back to you what you are. Now, that is not a key to start beating yourself up, because nobody would do that if they knew what they were doing. Nobody would do that if they knew then that thoughts created, or what you hold on to in here is reflected by how people treat you. Nobody would do that. And it doesn't mean that that's right either. So just saying that, don't beat yourself up. For God's sake, do not beat yourself up. So the other time I was able to manifest them back, now this is when I consciously knew about manifesting and I became a success story on another channel, was through intentions. So again, I think I'd walked away from it this time. I remember I'd walked away from the relationship this time, and it was about a month later that I wanted the person back. It's not very healthy, is it? I know, but the ingredients of what I'm giving you is the key to manifesting people back. But we want to, as I said, we want to make sure that we are in a place of loving ourselves, so we don't get treated badly. So we are treated with the respect and the value that we deserve, and that's how we see ourselves. Healthy boundaries, loving ourselves, and having an incredibly fulfilled life where your cup is full. They don't come in to fill it up, because when they go, if they go again, what's going to happen? The obsessive needs and the attachments are going to just flare up. So, but basically going back to this, so intention. So I was doing intentions. So I would intend for my specific person to come back to me. Now, for every intention that I would put in this way, I would have about 10 negatives that came in, 10 negative thoughts that would come in. And then I'd put a couple more intentions, 10 negative thoughts, couple more, 10, couple more, 10. About 2 weeks. So I know I get a lot of clients say, it's really hard and I keep getting the negative thoughts. Well, yeah, you're gonna. And you've got to override that. If you want them back and you're going to do intentions, you've got to override that, or affirmations, but this is intentions. You have to override those negative thoughts. So you get the negative thoughts coming in. You've got to put more positives in. Negative, more positives, negatives, more positives. So they're never going to want you back. You're wasting your time. They've met somebody else, even though you don't have any proof of it, but your mind is going to tell you all this horrible stuff. And then if you allow that to spiral, it's going to bring you the evidence to go, see. And that's all the past stuff that you've been through. So we want to stop the spiral as much as we can by catching the thought. So it's like you have that inner thought of, they're never going to want you back. I intend that my specific person can't stop thinking about me. I intend that my specific person, and you would insert their name if you want to, misses me like crazy. I intend that my specific person wants me back. I intend that I'm the only person that my specific person wants to commit to. I intend that I'm the love of their life. I intend that they can't stop thinking about me. I intend that I'm all they've ever wanted, that I'm the only one they've ever wanted. I intend that they're ready to have me back. I intend that they want me back so badly that they can't stop thinking about anything else but me, that they can't even focus properly, for thinking about me, that they wake up in the night thinking about me. I intend that my specific person is so madly, crazily in love with me that I'm the only one they've ever wanted. I'm all they've ever wanted. That they desire me, that nobody in the world makes them feel the way that I do, that they're ready to be in a loving, healthy, committed relationship with me. So it's basically, you want to be doing intentions. Now, my intentions those years ago I didn't actually have those, but they were more aligned to just him coming back, missing me and wanting me back. But that's what I would kind of do now, but from a place of loving myself, seeing my worth, and knowing that, well, of course they want me. Why wouldn't they? I'm an amazing person. I would mix in self-concept with that, self-concept affirmations with that. So again, if you want any more guidance with that, then you can book a 30-minute, 45-minute or 60-minute coaching session with me. Just click in the link below. And that took diligence. The first couple of weeks was difficult because I had a lot of negative thoughts that were just like being fired. It was like boom, 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 being fired into my mind that I had to keep overriding. So it was pretty exhausting. It took about a couple of weeks really for that to settle down. And then I just kept going. And then the more I kept going, the less the negative thoughts were there, the more effortless it was. And I had the odd tears here and there and missing them and everything, but I would just get back. And this is something that I did as well. I did take inspired action. It's a very brave thing to do. Some people can do it. Some people don't like to do it. This isn't law of attraction. This is more law of assumption. if you want to take inspired action is taking an action without being attached to the outcome. So there's no doubt and there's no wavering doubt here. You're just going to take an action. So I would phone him and he would pick up. So one, I'm thinking, right, well, he's picked up. That's a good sign. That's positive. Well, of course, he's going to pick up the phone to me. I intend that he always picks up the phone to me because he misses me. He can't stop thinking about me. So I would then take that and then I would loop the story around that. I would add those intentions. But then I might hear him say, I don't know why you're bothering calling me and da, 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 da. And then I go, okay, well, thank you for your honesty. Put the phone down. And then I'd like mascara, snot, you name it, tears there. I would have that. So sometimes it would make me feel like that. You have to be very strong, I think, to be able to do the inspired action when you're not sure what the outcome's going to be, because you've got to take that as feedback and flip the story. So the outcome is whatever they say, that's what you need to let go of, and you need to revise the story. So mine was always, well, of course they want me back. Of course he loves speaking to me. Of course he can't stop thinking about me. Of course he wants me. Of course we're compatible. Of course I'm the love of his life. Of course he's the love of my life, you know. So I would have to revise that. And I would sometimes even do that through tears, and I'd get my pad and my pen, and I intend that he wants me back. I intend, and I would like be crying. I intend. And then I would just gently, I'd get myself back together, and then I would gently just loop the affirmations. So I started doing intentions, I want to say towards the end of the November. And then there was a few things, then we spoke and we started to speak a little bit more and more and more, and the conversations are getting longer and healthier. So I was having a bit of contact, but I was still doing the intentions. And then again, one day he messaged and he said, oh, okay, I'd like to see you, but I'm not ready to be in a relationship. And I was like, done. I was done. It's done. It's done. Of course he wants to see me. Of course he wants me back. That was it. Certainty, knowing, done. So again, I just remained faithful to that inner feeling, to doing my intentions. Yeah. We're back together. 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 And then within 2 weeks of him sending that message to me, he was blowing up my phone with loads of lovely messages, literally responding to me just like this, which was lovely. But it felt natural, and it felt natural. That's important. It felt natural. Of course he would. Of course he's going to be blowing up my phone. Why wouldn't he want to hear from me? I'm his girlfriend. Yeah. And then he was asking me out. He asked me out, and we had our first date in the beautiful pub in Bradfield, which I love, which is where I kind of grew up. So there you go. That is basically how I was able to manifest now. You know, are you still together? No, we're not. And you know why? Because self-love. Because of my self-love practice, which was non-existent. So now this doesn't mean that you can't have them when you learn to love yourself. Which we are all allowed to do, chose in the end, after loving myself, that I wished him well. I did all my forgivenesses, which is one of the videos in my self-love, self-concept workshop. I forgive him, I forgave myself, and I wish him well, and I wish him happiness. And that's it. And you can only get there from there with forgiveness and self-love. So there you go. And I'm really super happy. And in the time that we've been apart, you know, I've grown in confidence. My self-love practice has grown. I've created a globally successful business. I've gone from being on £10 a week with government support to having a 6-figure salary. You know, my body's healthy. You know, I work out. I look after myself every day. I've released lots of negative people from my life, low vibration people in my life effortlessly. And I've created beautiful lovely, kind people have been flowing into my life effortlessly, and life is really better and better and better and better and better for me. So I might have quite a few questions about this video. I just wanted to share this, really. I just thought I hadn't shared these stories for quite a while, and I've got quite a lot of new subscribers that might want to know a bit about me and about kind of the effortless ways I've manifested and the more complicated ways. And fundamentally, the most important thing to do is to love yourself. is to love yourself. And you will never be attached to anything ever again when you're in a place of loving yourself. And I guarantee you that. So I really hope you've enjoyed that, guys. And yeah, I will say I am allowing the loving relationship that I desire to align. How do I say this? I am allowing my life to align the ideal version. I am allowing the loving relationship I desire to align to its ideal version. I am allowing my life to align to its ideal version. And I am allowing my loving relationship, the loving relationship that I desire, to align to its ideal version easily and effortlessly. Much love to you all, guys. Take care. I'll be back soon.